Hey everybody, wanted to bring you guys some multiplayer commentary on Wargame European Escalation. These games are pre-recorded so that I have time to talk about strategy and what I did as opposed to focusing on playing the game. And at the beginning of the game, two people on each team pretty much leave. I think they disconnected. I recorded this a while ago, so my memory is not exactly up to date. But this is the overview map, and it's pretty basic. I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist of it. Middle has high resource counts, and the sides have reinforcement points and one single high resource position. So I figured I was going for Echo and Juliet and either trying to deny them the resources or just destroy them there. And I am pew pew choo choo, obviously. This is my side. I'm playing as NATO, going up against Warsaw Pact. And the positioning of the fobs, you want to position them either in the back here. I thought he was going for an artillery build, so that's why he's got his in the back. He's got multiple of them. If you can put out the resources, you should buy multiple ones to support your artillery. I buy a single one and I place them next to the roads here, so that if I were to capture Echo and Juliet, I would be able to resupply my tanks there very easily. I'm gonna speed this up. And I buy here a command vehicle and an anti-aircraft gun to protect it, and I'm gonna move that into Kilo and cap that right away because that opens up the opportunity to capture Mike and Oscar, which I do want. I buy some gunship helicopters here, some Gazelles, and notice how they're veteran units because I want to use them either as scouts or harassment. So the game starts, and I didn't even have time to talk about my main force, but my main force consists of French FAMAS infantry, some veteran Leopard 1s, some AT and SAM missiles, and an armored recon and a recon. Armored recon obviously has armor and a gun, and recon's just a jeep. The armored recon doesn't have as good optics. As you can see here, it's only good, whereas the recon is very good. So I figured it was a nice balance between the two, and I deployed this command vehicle over here to Delta and get it some more AT guns or AA guns. AA really isn't a problem. We're going up against a Warsaw Pact, but these Gazelle helicopters are pretty spammable for anyone that's really low level, likes to spam them. I only buy 4 of them here just to kind of harass their comms vehicles, and I send them up here right around Juliet in November to see if they're going for any of those points. Always keep your recon up in the front line here. Didn't really do that too well here, but my plan was to deploy these infantrymen into the forest to get the specialists with the AT, GM, and the Stingers to position themselves inside this town here, because at this point I was thinking that this would have been a frontal fight, and them capturing this point made me believe that even more. So I spread these infantry out inside this forest here, making sure that they're deep inside the forest so that they can get to the edge very fast. And that's because they don't have very good AT weapons from a range, but they're devastating up close. Oh. And over here I take out one command car. And I think this play shows some really great knighting. So I ordered them here. I saw the AT car, the command vehicle. I take it out, and then I ordered them to pull away because I saw these APCs. Now he's bringing his helicopters to chase me, so with helicopters there's a slight delay on everything, so I tried to pull them back to November. And I'm bringing my recon up and positioning them on the edges of the forest just to see what's up. So I'm pulling these ones back through here, and I noticed that Papa is being capped, so I get my helicopters and I want to draw him out here and kind of just micro this so that he'll try and follow me I'll knight him, and I can also pull off a few shots here if I really wanted to, but the game automatically does that for me. I kind of just want to go over here, and I move my helicopters into these forests to see where he's likely to position his comms vehicle, and I find it here. So I get my gazelles here with the veterancy. The veterancy is very important because it increases accuracy of your units by 7.5% per level, I think. So they set up and take out the UAS. Now keep in mind that accuracy is the maximum accuracy bonus at its max range. So at this range it increases it by quite a lot. So one of these helicopter squads go down, which is alright, because we do get this comms vehicle. Notice how they only cost 43 points as opposed to that comms vehicle, which is 200 points. That's fine with me because we have tons of helicopters. They have a limited amount of comms vehicles, so we grab that. And I'm just moving some more infantry up here with some flak panzers to cover us. And I set off the gazelles again. I know they're gonna die either way. They're closed off, they're boxed off now. So I wanted to sap them from India. At this point I didn't realize that they had echo, so I thought if I were to remove that comms vehicle, they would not be able to buy units, and that's a big plus at 4 minutes into the game. So I spot this vehicle, and I know these units are gonna die, so I charge them into that UAS. So they take it out. Great. They're definitely going to devastate my helicopters, and I notice that they're setting up on this ridge here, taking his units out. That's not our fight, so we're not going to deal with it. I position my Leopard tanks inside this ridge so that if they were to pop up here, we would be able to engage them very successfully over there. I dismount my FAMAS troops when I noticed that Artie was coming down into the area, because Artie really devastates these APCs, and if my infantry were to still be inside them, they would be destroyed along with the APCs. So now I see that our enemy is appearing out of these woods. So what I do is I move the VABs up here into the middle of the field here, and then get the FAMAS infantry to come up behind. Those tank shells, those AT shells really hit hard on the infantry, but with AP against the APC carriers, it's really marginal when compared to the splash damage of the HE. So I move him up, hoping that his tanks will target him first, and luckily he does. If we lose APCs, it's not a big problem, we can go without them. The infantry is what does most of the damage, and these infantry only cost 10 points. They have great guns with a lot of accuracy. That's what you want to look for the first weapon. And they also have great law launchers doing 11 AP damage and great accuracy at 8, so I charge him in. His tanks are targeting my APCs, and miraculously I don't actually lose one of them, which is great. He makes the mistake of bringing his tanks up. I also put some Leopards to flank him just in case. And you'll notice that these rockets take him out extremely well. So we won that battle right there. In the meantime, I'll speed this up until something happens. Okay, I think yeah, he's putting artillery onto my position, so I wanted to move back here into this forest and set up and just get away from his guns. At the moment I was trying to figure out where his shots were being fired from, so I'm moving my troops back, and these VABs are extremely fast with 90 kilometers per hour, so you can really rush enemy tanks. But the infantry, and you'll see that some of that later. I think this game, this round showed some really good. Oh, my enemy fires off a very large barrage of the rocket artillery. It's good for covering a large area, and this shows just how devastating it is. It covers about all of Delta, so yeah. Big splash damage, and he also knocks out my comms vehicle with it. Good thing we have quite a lot of reserves for that, but I was still... Oh, and he also got the one in Charlie, so I had to buy a new one for that, a new one for Delta. Yeah, there's another wave, and I think he also gets Alpha. Yeah. So at this moment, I made the decision to pretty much attack his base and try and take those out. I noticed that he doesn't have a lot of tanks, and those artillery must cost a lot for him to put out that much. Now, this game plays fairly slowly, so you're gonna have to make those decisions just one after another. So I sent up my tanks to flank his T-55s here. Wow. And I think that was directed to, let's see what that was directed to. Alpha? Yeah, I guess. I'll bring up some more of these gazelles, figuring that I might as well try and take out their arty with them, but eventually they play a huge role later on. My tanks engage them from the side here, and notice how I group them into twos, because when you group them into fours, sometimes when the arty hits down, it'll pretty much stun all four of the units, whereas if you group them into twos, they have a nice balance between firepower and maneuverability. I try to split my tanks up as much as I can and spread them out, but with the arty going down and the other tanks shooting at my flanks, I pull them back into a tight group here, which probably wasn't the best thing to do. The best thing to do would probably been to go forward, as I had a scout unit here and I noticed that there wasn't anything there. But he didn't take the initiative to try to attack me, so it was alright. I find that Leopards, when they have veterancy, they're actually really helpful, but their armor amount is still pretty limited, so you really have to focus on not getting flanked. Take out the anti-aircraft first so that I can bring my helicopters in. There we go. So he's dropping arty on us, and I'm moving my units back or forward, and I spread them out a bit so that now if he hits my units, he'll have to hit a one group and the other three groups will fire. At this point I have no real anti-air in this area, and I think we actually ran out of fuel for these sometime later on. So what I do is I bring the helicopters up here to take out his gunship helicopters, and I also bring up the scout unit to follow that up. Because our smaller helicopters have a lot more accuracy than his big clunky ones at this point, his helicopters are devastated. And I think we see what I see in game. So I notice that this is where their multiple artillery is. So I move my tanks in a flanking maneuver over here. So I have some on the left flank here. That's fairly close to the middle. And if tanks, which appeared here, fire onto the middle, our side can take them out. And I have a far right flank here, which I in turn to turn over here and attack him from the back if we were allowed that. But I also noticed that he had some stuff here, so I moved that up, and I'm bringing some infantry support and some Leopards to support that. He's firing on our tanks on that side, so he still gets devastated the other way. He's trying to move and fire, which I don't recommend. I'd hit the stop button as soon as you want to start hitting the enemy, because most of these tanks don't have stabilizers. I know mine didn't. I'm not sure if the T-55 had it, but now I know it doesn't, so he gets that taken out. And we have nothing to cover against this air support, so once you go into battle, you kind of have to commit. And because our Leopard A1s don't have machine guns on top, there's nothing we can do. These infantry vehicles do have machine guns, but I figured that all of these units are probably dead men right now, and I saw the opportunity to go in here and take this group out, so I charged them in. And they have a top speed of 90, so that's quite high. trying to focus on my recon and my tanks right now. He doesn't see the APCs as a threat, and I think that was one of his biggest mistakes this game. Those RD vehicles cost 68 points each, and I just deploy my infantry here. He doesn't even fire his artillery vehicles at me, and with the very accurate rocket launchers, I'm just starting to sap these vehicles. And because of his build order, kind of hesitant to say that in this game, he buys a lot of these FOBs, which cost 100 points each, so that takes quite a lot of resources from him. And my attack here is destroyed, but that's alright. So I order some more units to go into Echo. Yeah, you can see me plucking them down here in groups of 2, obviously, and they start to stream in. He's trying to make an attack on us from here. Somehow the infantry fighting vehicles, the Martyr ones, take him out. I was really surprised by that. But I guess on their flanks they don't have a lot of armor. And at the moment I'm just waiting for things to happen. So I buy some more gunships, hoping that I'd be able to stoke out November and Papa. Ooh. And this is why buying anti-air for your command vehicles pay off. He tries to rush me like I did to him, but these flak panzers stop that dead on, and he's trying to bring it over here so that he can do it. For some reason the game's stuck in fast forward mode now, and I don't know why. It's a bug with this. I can't really do anything about it, so we're gonna have to go on with this. Oh, now it's back in normal time, okay. So I think we engaged something over here, I'm not quite sure, I missed that. And most of our forces here, I bring the supply helicopters, which I highly recommend you get as one of your first unlocks, because they're, especially these French ones, they carry a lot of stuff. They're also very cheap compared to the Chinooks. So I dropped that off, giving these units some supply. And at this moment, I'm thinking of bringing them to November and Papa. He's also building up his units here. And what I wanted to do was take out his troops in Papa in November and kind of sweep over, but then I realized that he's started commencing his attack right now. So what I wanted to do was use this road right here and drive it straight into their base where his artillery vehicles were and take that out. But what ends up happening is that there's some tanks here that come out, and we will discover some infantry here. And if this were to happen to you, I'd drop off the infantry right away. So let's see the drop off, and then because of our infantry are substantially better than theirs, we're gonna just pretty much destroy this team. So let's check out what they have. His Stinger infantry costs 10 points. 10 points. They have an accuracy of 5 for their main weapon, and their SAM launcher has an accuracy of 4. Our FAMAS infantry has an accuracy of 8 for their main weapon, and an accuracy of 8 for their long launchers at the same price. Obviously, much better. His BTRs are priced the same at 10. They have a top speed of 70, and they have maximum range of 1 kilometer. Very low accuracy for their APCs. Ours has a higher accuracy, same range, and higher speed. So these units are just amazing. But in this situation, the best thing you can do is to deploy your troops immediately, because if the vehicle gets taken out with the infantry inside it, they're just devastated. What you saw there was that I brought some FAMAs here from the forest over here so that they can draw the tanks fire, and that way we can see them without risking our scout, which is on fire right now. And that'll give us some time to position our Leopards to take them out. I'm not a big fan of how infantry combat is done in this game. Yeah, the infantry just kind of stand around and fire. It's not really realistic or anything. I would have preferred a much slower pace, you know, pointy, shooty instead of run and gun. and I load them back up onto the trucks. I tried to spread my tanks out here so that there was a flanking unit on the side and one chaser unit inside the forests, but he decided to pull them back, so I couldn't really do anything about that. And I noticed I have T-34 here, my tanks take it out. So once again, because I know he has artillery, I spread my tanks out in groups of 2, and I put them like this so that if they were to hit one group, the other ones would be able to fire back on him. And I'm trying to bring up some of the reinforcements here with the road. So you can see it's a nice little spread of units here moving up against him. And then I use a fast move so that we can rush him with the VABs and have a separate unit go for the Tungustas over there. And the game is actually over before that point, so yeah. That's the first commentary video, I guess, so I'll see you guys later. If you want more, subscribe, like the video and all that if you want, but it doesn't really matter. So, I'll see you then.